On-demand autocrafting has been introduced by the Create mod on 1.6.3, which allow us to utilize the gauges to autocraft the items that we want. While this way works, it is also really slow for crafting the items, as gauges can be only sent to craft one item at once. And yeah, it is really slow, but since it is create, is also designed to be more aesthetics instead of efficiency. So, is there a better way to do this? Yes, there is. And that is what we are going to talk about today. So, in 1.21.1, I think, when was the crafter added? When was the crafter added? So, on Minecraft version 1.21, the vanilla crafter was added, and it allows players to automate crafting with the crafter. But how do we utilize it with the create mod? It's also fairly simple. We just need to send a package in and then it can be crafted. But then most people will face an issue is that let's say today you are going to craft a chest. You will have one slot that is blank to craft the chest. Or let's say today you are going to craft slabs. You will have six slots here that are blank. I mean, having all the planks over here shouldn't be much of an issue. But what if you are crafting a door? You have this part is blank. And then usually in vanilla, you will need to disable these slots. So you only craft the oak door. But then what if today we want to have this crafter here to be versatile, which can be used to craft all the items that you can normally do in the crafting grid. And that is where our requester comes in. So in this requester, I have arranged the items like this. This is not random. This has a dedicated sequence, which we are going to talk about here. So let's say today you are going to craft a chest. Usually you will do it like this to craft a chest. And we can utilize the crafting grid here for the requester. So let's say this is the first slot, and then this is the second, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. And then we can bring this into the requester. So let's say this is the first slot. The first three slot is going to be the oak planks. This is the fourth, and this is the sixth, and then the rest. And in the center, we will need to have a placeholder for the crafter, and that is why our placeholder, which in this case is the white tablecloths, comes in. So when we request items, it will then send from two of the storage. You can have this in one storage as well. It doesn't really matter that much as far as you are sending everything. And only one thing that you will need to be keep in mind is that you will need to send all items instead of just partially of the items. So when you send all the items, it will then get sent into this frog pod with this repackager, repack everything, and the item will be sent into the crafter. But since we have the placeholder, we doesn't want it to interfere with the crafter, else it wouldn't work. That's why we have a brush funnel with the tablecloth filter to pull the items out. So let's say we have uh, the white tablecloth inside, and then the pulse timer here is already activating to craft the items. It wouldn't output anything because it is not a valid recipe until the placeholder is extracted, then it will start crafting. So we use a brush runner here to to pull the placeholder out, and then it will begin crafting. And this way is much ideal if you want something to done quick, because a crafter can craft an item every 4 game ticks. So you can craft 5 items per second. Once the placeholder is extracted, it will then get sent back into the storage over here. So why is all this set up over here? Why do we not just have the funnel and the packager and the crafter and the timer keep pulsing the crafter so it always keep crafting? The reason is if we send the items in, let's also set that out. We send it in, and you will see that once it has taken items inside, this smart observer will detect the items, and it will then unpower the redstone torch, which was powering the pulse timer for it to start pulsing. So right now it is unpowered with by the smart observer, then it start pulsing. One thing is that I don't really like to have timers keep running in the world because they are laggy. And second of all, there is a ongoing bug about the packager into the crafter. So let's say you have a package that is trying to go into the crafter. Sometimes the items, let's say this item is not full, and then it will try to put the package inside. So your item will just gone, it will just get eaten by the crafter, and then that is what we don't want. And once this pulse timer here is pulsing every 4 game tick, as that is the maximum speed of the vanilla crafter, it will begin to start crafting the items. You can also put a storage right over here at the mouth of the crafter, so all the items will go into the storage. And then once it is done crafting, it will then take in the next package and start crafting again. As you can see, it's crafting relatively fast, and yeah, everything goes into the storage. And I like this is because let's say you want to craft like 5 stacks of chests. So we can just send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then once it's sent everything, it will go into here, get a repack, get sent into this hopper. You can also use a belt if you want. In this case, I just like to use uh do it without any stress units. I mean, using a belt also doesn't take stress units, but you need rotation. So yeah, just send it here, and then it will then get queue over here for it to craft the chest. You can also run a belt and then tile this design. So this design here is tileable. So you can have a packager next to it, have the belt going like this. So if there's a package on queue, it will just go into this one instead of waiting for that one to be done. And then yeah, you can just put it like this, and it should still works. And then all the items can just link into a vault for all the items to be stored, or you can just send them back into your main storage. So in the description down below, I will link a schematic of this setup if you guys want to check it out yourself. But before you make it work, here are the configurations. All the frog pods are linked onto the chain conveyors. This one is called placeholder, which is for this packager to send the placeholder back into its dedicated storage. And then this one doesn't have a name because this is just acting as the resource vault. And for this is called the crafter 2. You can craft it, you can name it as crafter A, B, or C, whatever. It only matters because the requester here is sending the items to crafter 2. I have crafter 0 over there. And as for this frog pod, it also doesn't have a name. And for the network, two of these are linked together, so you can just place this down and then it will be linked. Well, you can use an empty stock link and then link these two together. And then the requester is linked onto the same network as this two requester. And that's all. I hope this video is helpful. If so, please leave a like and maybe subscribe for more content like this. And I will see you guys next time in the next video. Bye bye.